Chances are you've seen some of these faces over the last few months, and that's probably because each of them got their own docuseries. The reason that these people even got docuseries is because of how they were treating their members and followers as well as their erratic behavior. And if you haven't seen the next few photos, then let me tell you, they have way more in common with both Love Has Won as well as Twin Flame Universe, but I believe that they're even bigger than the Twin Flame Universe. So sit down, buckle up, here we go. Let me introduce you to Twinray. Twinray is based in Ashland and consists of these two people who like to have their picture taken a lot. There's usually a lot of backlighting as well. So I want to introduce you to them and tell you their story. The female of this duo, her name is Mia Therese Dushel. She did have her name legally changed to Miananda Mitreo. And so she used to be an actress. Being an actress is going to become a very big point later on as we go along with this crazy cuckoo story. Now, I do want to give credit to a certain person who brought this whole thing to my attention, and her name is Sienna, and she goes by Slut for Plants, I believe, and she's on Instagram as well as on TikTok, so thank you to Sienna. So when I saw her video, I had to figure out who these people were. I thought it was insane. They are dressed in this white garb all of the time. They're charging exorbitant amounts of money, all of which is an angel number, which is just essentially a repeated number. So $1,111, $2,222, blah, blah, blah. And it keeps going. Everything is an angel number, and it's all crazy expensive. I'm going to show you a video clip of Twinray telling their story about how little Miss Shakina Mia became who she is. And it might be a little difficult to understand because she's from Miami. She's never been she wasn't raised in the UK. You're going to wonder why she has the accent, and there's no answer. Nobody has an answer for why she decided to go with this semi-British kind of Aussie accent. I guess maybe to sell herself off as like the real deal to fit her story, which is complete BS. And we'll get there. There's lots of proof for that. So I'm going to show this clip and you get to see what they tell the world and how they became who they are.
So who are we? We are what everyone is, and that's simply love. And our journey is really that journey of love and following the path of that love. And that the depth of that love that we speak into is limitless. It's not the romantic association of what love can feel like, but what love truly is at its nth degree is pure creation itself. And so that's what we are. That is our role, to awaken that in every beautiful heart that comes upon our path to help you remember who you truly are. And our paths are completely different in their own right. My path was more of the internal alchemy, the alchemic pathway, and my beloved wife's path was more just complete destiny. I'll let her share a bit more about her experience, but I'm always touched to learn more about my own life as well as she shares her profound experiences, because she went through a complete death initiation. Her soul, the original soul that once was in her vessel, in her physical body, isn't the soul that is before us today. And so she actually had to die for 6 days and 6 nights and become completely resurrected for another consciousness to come through, which took her 7 years to even integrate that experience. That is in and of itself a profundity that's let you, beloved, share more of.
Absolutely, my pleasure. But before we get into that, who, right? The who. So many people are focused on the who they used to be in a past life, how they, made history or didn't make history. And yet we're here to say that it isn't the who that's important in this now. It is the what. What are you doing now? What is your service to humanity now? Because whoever we've been in the past, which I can assure you we're not going to get into here, is only important in how we serve now. Because we're not here to repeat the past. We are here to blaze a new now that thus creates the crystallization pattern for a new future, and thus brings in the new earth and the golden age. So before we talk about sort of the narrative and the story, which is so colorful and beautiful as it is, it's really so important to let go of the who the perception might be or might not be. Allow the heart to open and receive the wisdom, receive the love.
So we're going to take a little bit of a time travel back to 2010, September 25th to be exact. Mia had been in LA for about 10 days looking for a place to live because she wanted to move there to further her acting career. And she ended up staying at 3 different places, all men. She no longer has anything to do with them, whatever. So she gets on this flight on the 25th, and it's a red eye, so she's landing in Fort Lauderdale on the morning of the 26th. Now, on this flight, she was supposed to be in coach, and then a seat opened up in first class. So she decided to pay the difference and move to the first class seat. Now, she claims that there was a man to her left and one to her right, both of whom she deemed terribly ill. And like, one had an oxygen mask, one had a neck brace, one was coughing. They were elderly, that's important to know. And so she decided that after she got home and she went through an illness, which we will get to, that it was Spirit Airlines' fault that she got this illness because they somehow were negligent in placing her in first class that she paid for. She also claims that she was never allowed to go back to her seat in coach, which... thank you again for public information, because you sued somebody. All of this information is out there online for free for the public to see. So let's go over some of the evidence and poke tons of big old holes in her I died and came into Shakina's story. So Mia did have a type of meningitis, but that's not her initial ailment when she goes in. She actually has sepsis due to a multitude of things, and she ends up having her gallbladder removed. Never once was she in a coma. She never died. She never flatlined. She had been sedated, but that's separate than being put into a medical coma. So the type of meningitis that she in fact did have, a lot of the population ends up having, similar to how about 50 to 80% of Americans have the herpes. It's just whether or not it comes out. Like some people get it really easily and they'll have cold sores and whatnot. And most of us, it never rears its ugly face. So there's a lot of her medical history here, and I'm just going to go ahead and insert it. Just pause to read whatever you want, and there ends up being a deposition with the infectious disease person who oversaw her case as well. So you get to see exactly what happened, and none of it is what she claims. She's a big fat liar. But we already know that because she's not British and she has this like weird accent all of a sudden. So here is her medical records from her stay in the hospital. It goes over every single thing that went on with her, and pause to read anything. Like I said, this is public information. This is free to get, and it absolutely annihilates her entire story because you will not find anything in here that says coma. You will not find anything that says she died. You will not find any words such as miracle anywhere in any of this. And here is the deposition done with the infectious doctor that met with her, went over her entire case. And again, you will not find any of the words previously mentioned, nothing that corroborates her story in the multitude of interviews that she and Sanandaji, who I really only refer to as Harley, and this is just the beginning. During this court case, in her depositions, she does talk about what they're currently doing as of right now. And by the way, this case was completely dismissed. There was zero evidence that anyone got her sick on the plane, plus the fact that she was in LA around a bazillion different people. And fascinating that nobody else around her got sick. So, the beginning. But this is so big and so deep. I'm going to continue. This will be multiple parts. It has to be because I can only make 10-minute videos.